All right. I did collect some questions from the audience. Welcome back, everybody, to the Yes Chef Village podcast show. I am your host, Chef Omaka, and we have with us here today, once again, Adama Alaji. Adama has been going in on our nature and who we are. Truly a vessel of just truth. And yes, of resurrection, because she says she's a voice of resurrection, and lifting us up is what I'm feeling right now today. So I hope you get the same thing. Adama, I want to ask you a question real quick from the audience. We do have one, and I think this question would tie into the question I had. So my question that I had and you is I heard from one of your videos that you had a restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And with that being said, tell us about your restaurant. Tell us like what you did, how'd you feed people, and the question I want to give you is, what is your recommendation? This is from the audience. Your recommendation on how many times we should eat a day.
Basically, my restaurant was Mother Earth's adornments and the eatery and the beatery. So I specialize in doing custom adornments. So it's adornments for the whole body, the whole being, body, heart, mind, soul, and more. So I specialize in doing custom jewelry, everything from setting stones, ambers, beads, all of that. And then I had the restaurant. 14-item salad bar. We made everything fresh every day, our own veggie burgers. At that particular time, we were doing sauteed veggies, vegetarian lasagna, non-dairy cheese made with nutritional yeast and olive oil and my herbal seasoning that people get when as a part of the package that I give. And basically at that particular point in time, now we're talking 1994 to 1999.
I was in 4th grade, 94. Wow. Yeah, but you had
so that was 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago. And so the restaurant, the whole thing was really, really good. Why? Because I had like a $4,000 overhead in a very well foot traffic area in Atlanta. The jewelry and all of what we did merchandising. So I had African fabrics, African drums, I had candles, I had oil blends, I had all of that, so that the jewelry, the beads, the custom adornments pretty much carried the overhead so that my food did not have to be outpriced. You understand? If you had $5, you could have a salad that had 14 items in it, including wakame, seaweed, nori. You understand, your choice of spinach, green leaf lettuce, red leaf lettuce, and then just, mushrooms, all of that. We did, at that time, we were doing brown rice, we were doing semolina wheat noodles and whatnot, and just a lot of organic vegetation. Okay. Why would I stop doing food? Is because people are inconsistent. And I felt it was not the best use of my time to be feeding people the best of what I could give them for them to go and eat shit on another day. You understand? So it's like veganism and vegetarianism is trending, but it was novelty back then. You understand? And even those ones who had more of a strict vegetarian lifestyle, and our children were not educated within the public school system. Dr. Lila, Africa's wife, Sarah, had the Conscious Children Center. So that's where many of our children started, or with Sister Ujima, who had Harambe Sasa. And then when Dr. Lila and Sarah left, then the children from the Conscious Children Center merged with Harambe Sasa. But then over the years, none of these people stayed strict vegetarian.
Wow.
Neither did their children. You understand? So we really have not understood what the issue actually is in terms of being under a global initiative of depopulation and genocide, where that they call food is a tool of oppression. Now, I want to make a distinction between what is food and what is fuel for our bodies.
Oh.
Food is not oxygenated. It is not hydrated. We are breathing beings. We require oxygenation. Food does not oxygenate us. Vegan food, vegetarian food is not oxygenated. It is not hydrated. We're 80% water, right? Water is hydrogen and oxygen. So at that time, we might have been doing lentils and beans and stuff. And then over the years, I've just phased out completely. I haven't done beans and rice and all of that in over 20 some years. All right. Why? Because our bodies are hydrogen and oxygen. So now we're not eating to satisfy an appetite. We're eating for cellular liberation. We are facilitating the body's cleansing. We want to bring into our system that which is going to push all of that stuff out daily. We're getting 1 pound to 3 of waste out of our system, right? It's not accumulating, all right? The other thing about food, it's not oxygenating, it's not hydrating, it is not mineralizing. So we're not getting the iron, the calcium, the phosphorus, the potassium, the magnesium, all of the things that give our bodies the alkalinity and the cellular bouncing electromagnetic energy that has those neurons snap, crackling, popping, and sending those signals to all of your organs and glands so that when you're oxygenating, you got all of this energy, but you can outthink a stupid people. You understand? So people are not eating for optimum cellular functioning. They're not eating for optimum thought. They're not eating to be clear, clean vehicles and vessels of the love of God, the light of God, the truth of God, the peace of God, the poise of God, the power of God, and to be restored in the integrity of who we are as these points of the presence of God. So, to the present moment, that which we need to be consuming has to be hydrating, oxygenating, mineralizing, facilitating consistent cellular repair regeneration because it is alkalizing and it facilitates elimination. That's our fuel.
Can we find those foods that you're speaking of?
We talking fresh fruit and vegetation. We talking herbs. You heard Sadie say your herbs are the food, right? Yes. But people are still stuck in feeding an appetite. We want something that looks like and tastes like the same garbage that we ate. You understand? So I'm just saying veganism and vegetarianism is not the order of this day. The order of this day is clearing, cleansing, purifying, and consecrating and fueling the body for optimum cellular function.
Fueling the body.
Fueling. It's just like we're driving cars, trucks, motorcycles. You are going to follow the manual, you understand, for this, the specification, the manufacturer's specification for your oil, your transmission, your brake fluids, all of that. You're going to follow that. You're not going to put diesel fuel in an unleaded tank. I'm just saying is that we respect the operational mechanical functioning of our vehicles, but our body is the vehicle of our spirit and we disrespect it all the time.
Oh, you speaking.
You understand? So I'm wanting us to move out of this realm of feeling like we need to be eating all the time. No, we need to be cleansing. We need to be opening up the channels of elimination. We need to be sweating. We need to be detoxing. We need to be nourishing. We need to be strengthening. We need to be thinking.
Wow. How important is environment? How important do you think environment is as far as like where we're at, what we're around, who we're around? How important of a role do you think environment plays on our psyche and our
your first environment is your body. That's the issue. Whatever trash is going on in here is going to magnetize, magnify, and attract other trash to you. You understand? The thing that gets you away from trashy people is cleaning the trashy body.
Yeah.
You understand? Otherwise, you're always creating and understanding that there's absolute law. So the law of magnetization, the law of attraction, right? But we want to understand the power of water. See, we were told through fasting and prayer, the desires of our heart would be granted unto us. The fasting is not just not eating. The fasting is hydration. So when people say, oh, I'm doing a dry fast, and I'm saying, why would you do that?
No.
Why would you do a dry fast after eating years of meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, and fish, and then you're going to stop eating? Then your body goes into hyper cleanse mode, and then you're not going to hydrate, you're not going to flush, you're not going to cleanse, you're not going to do the enemas. Then what are you doing? You are facilitating the body being able to tuck away the nitrates, nitrites, put it over here, becomes lumps, cysts, and tumors.
Yes.
Collections of toxins.
I mean, I'm just so laughing and excited because you're speaking the language I speak, things I've been teaching my people for years, some of the things that you say. So it's like you're speaking to my cells, my soul, awakening them up again as a reminder, how we are to live, and a reminder to my people, our people, how we are to exist with one another. I like that magnetizing, and when it comes to our environment, I like to use the word, our biosphere creates our atmosphere. Yeah. And I want to go into that even more because you said that is law. And I've come across some of your talks where you said something about being holistic. And I created these laws around holistic. They're called the 5 laws of oneness now, but they used to be called the 5 laws of holistics, and it is meditation, fitness, nature, nutrition, and art. So I believe these 5 things are law to our spirit, to our divinity, to be the best version of ourselves in our divinity, in our divine souls, our divine selves. So with that being said, I like that you use the word holistic, but you spell it the way I don't spell it. And so I need some schooling because I've always spelled it with an H and you spell it with a W.
Right, because you don't get, you understand, wholeness, WHOLE, the whole, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, practical, right? Wholeness. All right. Now, when you take something and you take the substance of it away, then you have created a whole, HOLE.
Oh, okay.
HOLE is whole, where the substance has been removed from it. And then you put a Y at the end of it where the E was. Or you put an I and then ness, holiness. You understand? The derivative is still whole. It still means that something's missing. It has, you understand? So we can't expect wholeness that's going to be 360 degrees. So when we talk about wholeness, we're looking at the cipher, that is the zero. The zero represents 360 degrees. It says, let the circle not be broken. So anytime that I do my empowerment circles, we are sitting in circle. When I had my prison ministry, we sit in circle. When I had was teaching at my son's alternative institution when he was a boy, right? I had the kindergartners through the 7th grade. We sat in circle. You understand? Not in rows. Because everybody has their part to play. It creates the dynamic of consistent eye-to-eye contact across, you understand? So we're talking 360 degrees of love, light, wisdom, truth, peace, poise, power, and potency, integrity, okay? Wholeness and integrity, all right? So you have many who are dealing with the herbology and many who are dealing with the metaphysics and many who are dealing, but they are not talking about integrity. Integrity has to happen at the cellular level.
Integrity.
And where integrity, wholeness at the cellular level, because we are perfectly and divinely designed. All right, but we are not respecting that we're perfectly and divinely designed. So before you can get to fitness and before you can get to nutrition and before you can get to any of that, you have to respect your perfect and divine design. Because the fitness industry is an industry. You understand? So everybody have their fitness clothes tight, can't breathe, all the spandex and whatnot, sweating and oh, it's an industry in and of itself.
It's a sex industry, if you ask me.
Right? You understand? Everybody's like, you can just see through. You can see through all of it. You know, like, dang, where your underwear at? It's like you got on your underwear and you're working out and whatnot. You got your butt in everybody's face. And I'm just saying is that we are not to be sculpting sludge. Yeah. People are in the gym and the fitness is sculpting sludge. Your body still needs to be cleansing.
We're acting too much like our oppressor in a sense too, you know? And so I always like to think like, you know, we have to, you know, you said something way earlier and it brought me to this thought, like who wrote the book of on life when they try to tell us how to live? I say like when I was born, where was the book at? Like I don't follow a book as far as like the Bible or something like that, a manuscript in that way. I follow the law of nature. I follow what my body, what my spirit, what my mind is telling me, and the intelligence within that, because as you said, we are divine, we are perfect, we are whole. And I had a bit of a kind of a back and forth with my child's mom, because she's allowing the school system to determine and diagnose my son with this, he's reading below a first grade level. And I said, he's a 6-year-old kid. He's in the first grade. He's a 6-year-old kid. Are you saying my kid is stupid? Are you saying he's dumb? Are you saying he's not? Are you saying he's not perfect as he is?
Well. Let's come back a little bit. All right. The first law: thou shalt love thy mother, father, creator, that which is beating your heart and breathing you with your whole body, heart, mind, with all of your might. Let's start there, because Kwanzaa don't deal with that. You understand? The 5 things that you just said did not address that. We're having to get to the root of what the issue is with us, is that we have not understood things that we have heard all of our lives. Cleanliness is next to godliness. No, the only way to come to God is through cleanliness. But what did they do? They have a spring cleaning the windshields, cleaning the baseboards, cleaning all of that and whatnot, but then putting bacon, eggs, cheese, and all of this filth in our bodies. You understand? We go through the communities, see all of these manicured lawns and whatnot, but then the people themselves are the harbingers of pure filth. You understand? Under bacterial soaps, antibacterial soaps, body washes, deodorants, perfumes, and all of that. Our bodies are the temples for the dwelling of the true spirit of the living God, goddess that is our truth. Our bodies have become trash cans for rotting carcass, alcohol, tobacco, and all of these things. So you may have heard me talk about the period where I was barefoot for 5.5 years, and I was in Jamaica, Queens, in New York, walking on very much just nothing but glass. And then I had this epiphany. This is the refuse. And I had my headpieces and all my jewelry and my fabrics and my bare feet and whatnot. And people are looking at me and they're trying to figure out, well, sister, where are your shoes? And I'm like, I don't have any. All right. But the issue is that what is constituting filth is what comes from what I refer to as the corporate deities of death. The meat, the dairy, the eggs, the chicken, the fish, the hamburger corners, the chicken bones. You understand? The aluminum pop tops from the cans and the sodas and the alcohol bottles and whatnot. And I'm looking at this stuff and I'm saying, this is the refuse. The real filth is in the people. You understand?
That's a
right.
word.
So we're full of filth, but we exercise and we working it out. You understand? We packing it in, and I'm saying you will never be able to come into the consciousness of who you are as a conscious immortal by fitness. Fit to do what? You understand? And this is why so many of the 40-some-year-olds are having their wombs removed. Why the 45, 50-year-olds are dying, because your arteries are packed with the sludge and the cholesterol and the plaque from all of the fish and the chicken and the eggs and the cheese and all of this stuff that you have eaten 45, 50 years.
Oh, I like that you went there. So talk about that. Talk about the important role of the Black nucleus family. How important is that in society like today, like especially a society like today? How important is it to have a nuclear family, a melanated nuclear family? Because a lot of our, you know, you said these women are selling their wombs, and I know that is our people doing that so that they can continue to live the single life. No, don't want a man, be independent. You know, I blame living single for that. You know, this whole independent movement.
When you're divided within yourself, which is the whole point of being fed garbage, is so that there is no possibility of you really knowing how to love, because you're in violation of the love of the truth of yourself. We've been raised and cultivated this way. The public school supports this. The daycare institutions support this, right? And this is why I am really emphasizing that men are the progenitor of lineages, wombed men are the perpetuator of lineages. We have never been properly supported in understanding the divinity and the sanctity and the sacredness of our lives, or duty obligation to ensure the progression of our lineages. We are houses divided against ourselves. Now, we may do some things that we feel in our best interest, but for all intents and purposes, we're doing other things that are not in our best interest. And then we come together with somebody else who feels entitled to do other things that are not in their best interest. You understand? So we have to understand the genocide, the intentionality, so that coming forward to that loving, this absolute and supreme intelligence that beats your heart and breathes you with your whole body, heart, mind, life, and soul. That's where the marriage really happens. So the woman has to be in love with that which is beating her heart and breathing her. The man has to be in love with that which is beating his heart and breathing him. And we have to consciously understand that we're here to ensure the progression of our lineages. But being warred against means that we cannot afford to be warring within ourselves, because we are then going to war with one another. All right. So when our relationships have been founded by artificiality, commercialism, oh, we like the same colors, we like the same movies, we like the same things, that is not foundation for the progression of lineages of people.
I hear.
Right?
Yep.
And then the marriage has nothing to do with anybody else. Marriage is a merger of the lineage. But then, because of the progressive genocide that mama and daddy and grandma and granddaddy and great grandma and great dad, they're smoking and drinking and getting high and drugging and this and that. You understand? So it's like, no, everybody needs to be cleansed. But then when you consciously come forward and you stop eating the meat and the dairy and the eggs and the cheese and this and that, and they're going to be like, well, what's wrong with you? Well, it was good enough for your grandmama, and it was good enough, and da 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 da. You understand? And then her mama is supporting the vaccines, the vaccinations. You don't want the vaccinations. Then there's, you understand? So I'm just saying is that we don't know anything about loving each other to life, because we have not come to love God with our whole body, heart, mind, with all of our might. And it's essential that if we really care to live the rest of our lives and not be dying the rest of our lives, if we really care to emerge upon this planet as a resurrected people, if we really care to know the fullness of the promises of God unto its own, that we would come away from this with great substance and wealth, we have to be wise enough to invest in the wealth of ourselves. And regenerating, rejuvenating, revitalizing, revivifying ourselves and ourselves. But as long as we are a detriment to ourselves, there is no way in hell we can have happy marriages. And then you said yourself that you have kids. And I'm saying we do not have kids. We have children.
Children, kids are goats. That's why I said I've come to learn.
So the culture, all right. So we're in a culture that is a death culture.
Yeah.
We're in a culture that practices systemic oppression across the board. When you have a people who undermine their children,
yeah,
Similac, Soyalac, artificial colors, artificial flavors, FD&C colorings, little Gerber bottles filled with ground up turkey and ground up chicken. When you start your babies eating the flesh of dead animals before they even have teeth, then you are literally putting them in a place and space where they become desensitized to other people's rights to their lives.
You went there, so I'm gonna go there. I gotta go there now because you said, from systemic oppression. And do you feel that we as a people need to separate ourselves from our oppressor?
Well, the issue is we are oppressing ourselves. The meat, the dairy, the eggs, the chicken, the fish, the alcohol, the tobacco, the sugar, the reefer, all of it is oppressive. All right. So there's no separation. It's like we deserve to be on this land.
Yeah.
You understand? We don't have to go anywhere.
Right.
We do have to reconstitute the substance of ourselves and ourselves. We do have to do that work. That's where the internal cleansing clay, the detoxification, the baths, we're sweating the toxins out. The skin is your largest eliminative organ. Now, for those who were feeling some degree of pressure to get any of the COVID vaccines, that vaccine was intended, one, to undermine your already compromised immune system. Two, it was intended to shorten your life so that your lifespan is now 5 years.
Wow.
All right. So those who, and I have many, many clients who have taken the shots, and I tell them, no, you have to be aggressive about the cleansing. You have to be aggressive about the cleansing. A detox bath is just a pure, strong bentonite.
Can one
I sell it for $6 a pound. You get 6 pounds in an order. That's enough for 12 baths. And then particularly for those who got the Moderna shots, but any of them, then you add a half a cup of baking soda and a half a cup of borax to it, and you get in there, you turn the heat up, you sit it, you dissolve it in as hot a water as you could take, and you sweat. And you sweat, whether you got eczema, psoriasis, prostate cancer, rectal cancer, womb issues and whatnot, you still have to facilitate elimination. And the more intense your issues, the more consistently you do it. The sisters who are having issues with endometriosis and bacterial vaginosis and yeast infection and all of this, understand that the meat industry created a mandate in around 2009 called Codex Alimentarius, where all animals being raised for human consumption had to be given another battery of antibiotics as a result of how much infection that these animals already had before slaughter. It created within the chicken particularly, maybe not exclusively, but a super bug. That super bug keeps urinary tract infections. It keeps yeast infections. It keeps bacterial vaginosis. It keeps all of that. All right. And all of it will lead to cervical cancer, uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, and whatnot, because the mucus that's in the body from all of the eggs and the cheese and this is what's causing so much of the cysts and the fibroids. Cysts on the ovaries, fibroids, and whatnot that, the doctors are saying, oh, well, there's nothing you can do. We're just going to take the womb. You don't need it anyway. You are 40. You can't have children. You understand, you're following bozos. We've been eating from bozos. All right. So at this particular point in time, eating means that you're starting your day, facilitating, opening the elimination. Right?
Yes.
Himalayan pink salt, Celtic salt, baking soda, Epsom salt, hot water, 2 tablespoons, open up the elimination. Most people's bowels are not moving the way that they need to in order to get rid of excess waste. So if you're overweight, you understand, you may say, well, my bowels are moving regularly, but you would not be overweight if your bowels were moving enough and you were eating correctly.
Right. Absolutely. That's a fact.
Okay. So retaining waste is the excess weight. The retention of waste is the evidence that you are not fueling your body properly. You're eating food. Food is a tool of oppression. We don't have to have it. You understand? Oatmeal. Starting your day with oatmeal. Oatmeal and raisins and cinnamon and strawberries and bananas. Mucus. You understand? You start your day opening up the bowel. Then if you have my products, you do your clay, then you do the herbs, the teas. All right. My tea formula has about 40 herbs in it. So every system, every part of your body is getting cellularly nourished. So you're cleansing and you're nourishing. And then when you have an appetite, you may not even have an appetite because your cells are being nourished.
Oh.
All right. You may not even want to eat because your cells are being nourished.
Oh.
All right. The reason people keep eating is because they are eating that which is nutritionally deficient.
Yes.
It is the nutritional deficiency that is creating all of the mental and the spiritual deficiencies, the emotional deficiencies. You understand? When you've been fed meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, fish, flesh, flour, sugar, alcohol, tobacco, secondhand smoke, and all of that, you are mentally and emotionally and spiritually incapable of truly exalting the kind of unconditional love that is required to maintain and create a happy marriage.
Well, I have one more question from the audience before I let you get your information out there to people. Someone asked, do you think aging is a disease?
Aging is a program, just like death is a program. It is the evidence of acidity and the accumulation, the saturation, the contraindication of nitrates, nitrites, BHA, BHT, artificial colors, artificial flavors, mucus. Mucus from pancakes, waffles, breads, biscuits, all of that stuff. Now, that's why we're aggressive about flushing and getting that out so that you are getting your salts, your herbs, your fresh fruit, your vegetation, so you can create consistent alkalization. Your body is intelligent enough where it knows what to do with what you're providing. But that's how we create consistent cellular repair regeneration. But the other aspect is that the healing has to happen in the spirit first. So you do have to acknowledge the reality that you're this point of an absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginning this in this infinite and eternal. You're already born immortal. You understand? You are already given that which is the key to eternal life, but then they get you to discombobulate that immortal gene by 49 years. By the time you finish 7 cycles of 7 years at 49, and you never knew to commit to that which is beating your heart and breathing you. Now, everybody's been given life, but everybody's not committed to living. Everybody's been given breath, but everybody's not committed to that which beats their heart or breathes them. Everybody is absolutely blessed with each and every breath and every beat of their heart, but everybody don't feel so absolutely blessed with each and every breath. Some people think that their blessing comes with more money. You could take all of the money that has ever been printed, all of the coin that has ever been minted, put it all together, no matter whose face is on it, it does not have the value of one beat of our heart or one breath that we take. We are these points of an absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginning in this infinite and eternal. Our spirit has to be reconciled and harmonized in the absolute truth of the divinity and the sanctity and the sacredness of our lives and all of life. We cannot advocate for the liberation of Africans throughout the diaspora without advocating for the liberation of Mother Earth, Mother Nature, and all of her creatures, her oceans, her seas, her rivers, and her streams, her lands. Everything deserves its liberation. Now, in order for there to be liberation upon the planet, then people who are consciously caring not to be upon the planet, they need to leave as quickly as possible. For those of us who really care to be here and representing all of who we were born to be as these living, loving, intelligent, potent, and immortal points of the presence of God, and to ensure the progression of our lineages, that we are not fighting a good fight. We are surrendering to the absolute law that is absolute love, the harmonization of the will of existence as our own will, the light, the love, the peace, the poise, the power, the potency, the integrity, the high ethic, the morality, the sensibility, the care, the courage, you understand, the commitment and the honor of walking in the integrity of those who have been called, those who have been chosen, and those who choose. We cleared, cleansed, purified, renewed, rebirthed, regenerated, rejuvenated, revitalized, revivified, and resurrected. This is our now moment. This is our time.
Yeah, wow. Wow. Oh, I'm out of, I don't know what to say. I just got to say thank you. That's all I can say. I definitely want to bring you back on for part 2 sometime after my
anytime, brother.
I want to say thank you. And if you got any websites, I know that you have Adama Speaks. I follow that page on Instagram, Adama Speaks. But if you have any other things you would like to get out about your protocols, or you want the people to know, we have about 3 minutes before they cut this off.
The best way to communicate with me is to call me.
Okay.
At 678-760-9299 if I'm unavailable. Generally, I'm doing my own protocols so that I'm more active between 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. All right, but you can always text with your name and then I will call you forward. I run a center, so sometimes I have people that just show up. Every day is a different day, but I'm open every day from 1 to 8 for those who are in the Atlanta area. I am on WRFG.org every Thursday night, midnight to 3 a.m. with the meeting of the inner circle, dealing specifically with the issues of our liberation, our salvation, our deliverance, and with the intention to create and sow the seeds for a boycott of the death industries as global community movement. You can also listen to archives of my monologues at bbsradio.com/Adama Speaks. Also YouTube.com/Adama Speaks. I've got a very encompassing interview on YouTube's Vegan Linked, LINKED, Vegan Linked channel /Adama Alaji. It says this gets deep. Vegan since 1978. That interview is I don't know, I had maybe 330,000 views on it.
Oh yeah.
And so it's not been quite a year that it's been out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We're and then the Real Adama Speaks, Instagram, Spotify, Adama Speaks. And then if you just Google Adama Speaks, I've got so much stuff that just shows up from time before. Whoa. And just keep me in your ear. I am the self-proclaimed general in the army of God.
And that's a well-deserved proclamation. So I want to say thank you. We honor you. We enrich you with love. We enrich you with light. We enrich you with the word of that beats in our heart, and that is just the word of truth. And thank you for liberating our minds today and uplifting our consciousness today. Thank you, Sister Queen, Mother Adama Alaji. We will be in touch. We will be in contact. I will send you videos to this, post it and share it, and I will send you also the links to the podcast as well, so you can post that and share it too.
Thank you so much. Bless you. Thank you.
Bless you.
Look forward to hearing from you. All right.
Have a good night.
Good night. Bless you. Thank you.